Finally, the girl's father, played by Nick Nolte, has had enough.
Do you notice these young people? They don't look very happy. They're committed to their professions and to their ambitions, but they're not committed to each other.
Katie, shut up and listen. If you don't leave my family alone, and if you don't get out of here, you're gonna be hurting like you never dreamed.
Could you repeat that?
I said, if you don't get out of here, you're gonna be hurting like you never dreamed.
A threat?
Yeah, you bet your ass it's a threat.
Well, I have thought of relocating somewhere where I'd be more appreciated. California, perhaps. I could teach earthquake preparedness. But then it hits me. I love New Essex, California. I mean, where else could I just casually confer with an old colleague?
We're not colleagues. Do you understand that? We're not colleagues.
You don't think you're better than me?
No, I don't think I'm better than you. That's not the damn point.
Good, because if you're not better than me, then I can have what you have.
What do I have?
A wife, a daughter. I'm going to teach you the meaning of commitment. 14 years ago, I was forced to make a commitment to an 8x9 cell. Now you're going to be forced to make a commitment. You could say I'm here to save you.
Fine.
Well, if De Niro doesn't give you the chills in this movie, you're not paying attention. I mean, this is another great performance for him after two bland outings, I thought, in Backdraft and Guilty by Suspicion. But despite the terrific acting throughout, I was disappointed by the way this movie works itself out. At the very end, the big climax, it becomes sort of predictable. It settles into cliches of slasher movies, of all things. And it's as if Scorsese is relying on some phony and cheesy special effects. And you leave the theater feeling, yeah, you're impressed, but I don't think you're very satisfied.
See, I saw it just the opposite way. I thought the second half of the movie was the scarier part, and slasher movies can be scary sometimes. This picture stayed with me. Oh, an hour, 2 hours after I saw it, I was replaying scenes and lines in my head, and that night, as I put my head on the pillow, I thought about it. That means it's an effective thriller. I think it goes about scaring you in the diametrically opposite way the original one did. The original, Robert Mitchum was this hulking giant, and he and Gregory Peck from the original, and Martin Balsam make an appearance here, which I thought was nice. In the original, he was this hulking giant. It was like people fleeing Bigfoot. Here, De Niro is not a tall man to begin with, so they have to cover his body with these enormously detailed tattoos and make him this visually scary character.
Well, he also does it through his acting, but the nature of those tattoos I thought was very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a gigantic cross tattooed on his back. He has biblical verses tattooed on his arms. And to me, it not only says that Hollywood, once again, is bashing religious figures, which it is, but it's like it's Martin Scorsese's revenge on the Christian fundamentalists who protested so strongly against Last Temptation of Christ.
But that was horrifying.
It goes a little bit overboard.
Oh, yeah, but he plays the psycho run-amok, and the tension builds gradually. The
tension is certainly there. I just wish it had relied more on psychological tension and less on some graphic, gruesome details. Okay, now next up, our best bet and also our family find is Beauty and the Beast. Now, music and animation combine to make for an evening of thrilling and unforgettable and satisfying entertainment for the whole family. But we split on Meeting Venus with Glenn Close. Jeff thought the characters remained undeveloped and the movie never quite reached its potential, but I was captivated by this love story about middle-aged musicians brought to life through fine performances. And Meeting Venus does feature some very strong and steamy sexual content despite its PG rating. Meanwhile, we agree that you'd have to be very weird indeed to actually enjoy And You Thought Your Parents Were Weird, the rip-off reincarnation comedy about a dead dad who becomes a robot. But we split on Cape Fear. Jeff considers it a first-rate thriller, wonderfully well acted. And while I was also impressed by the performances, I thought the climax was unsatisfying, relying on cliches from slasher movies. Now, this movie, like almost all of Martin Scorsese's films, contains plenty of tough language. It also features brutal, graphic sexual content, plus genuinely horrifying, nightmarish violence. Now, on our Catching Up feature of the show, we urged...
Last year, Scorsese was the toast of the critics for Goodfellas. And this time out, the action shifts from New York to Florida for a look at a man in search of revenge. Robert De Niro stars as an ex-con with an evil agenda in Cape Fear. His co-stars are Nick Nolte and Jessica Lange, who play the couple De Niro terrorizes. And up now, Lange talks about the rapport she established with her on-screen husband.
Sometimes, you know, you spend half a movie with an actor and you don't really connect until the end. But with Nick, there was a certain kind of, I don't know what it was, there was an ease that we had with each other just as people from the very beginning, and found a way to I think, to really make the relationship and the characters more interesting together.
Thanks, I needed that. Yes.
Hola! This town is so very nice, and everything's just so very, very nice. Sam, somebody's out there.
What's your connection with this fella?
I was his lawyer.
Oh, just shafted him somehow, right?
What was he in prison for?
No, really. What did you do? Have you been following me?
Well, it's a small town. Every way you turn, I guess we're going to run into each other.
Dad, you should have just punched him out. Yeah, you know how to fight dirty. You do that for a living.
This guy, he threatened you?
He's clever, so that the law can't touch him.
Come out wherever you are.
You have a daughter around 16?
16? What?
Every good man's got to wrestle with the devil. Hold you the hell off my property!
You, sir, will be hearing from the Ethics Committee.
We got this freaking psychopath in our faces. I mean, who knows what's true and what isn't?
I'm just losing my mind here. I called the vet, and then he died.
Lee, I told you not to let him out. I didn't let him out! I didn't let him out!
It would be unethical of me to advise a citizen to take the law into his own hands.
You thought about me last night, didn't you? Evening, ladies.
Hello?
I think we're alone now.
Where are you from?
I'm from the Black Forest. Maybe I'm a big bad wolf. Do you mind if I put my arm around you?
Absolutely terrifying. And although Cape Fear is a remake of the 1962 classic starring Robert Mitchum, it's not a remake in the usual sense because Martin Scorsese rewrote much of the script and he also reworked the film's tone. Scary stuff. And up next, it is dedication time. Biggest opening ever for a film directed by Martin Scorsese. And this could be the film that finally wins Scorsese a much-deserved Academy Award, especially if they give out an award for most terrifying. And if you're just joining us, this is E! Entertainment Television's Now Playing show. Every week we spend 30 minutes looking at back-to-back trailers to films just opening or just recently put in